I think there's a lot of things that are just really, really important about this issue. We're on the verge of war. Government officials handle these sort of issues.
I think the government is slowly leaking information out to us, saying that they do exist, but they don't know what they are. But still, again, like the government spending 2 million or more dollars on the matter.
I've never seen a UFO. I've never been abducted. I've had nothing injected into my backside that I can recall. Um, you know,
In
um,
Uranus.
my Uranus is untainted.
There was this guy who was hunting deer and he observed a UFO. It came floating down and then hovered right over him for quite a while. So he thought about shooting at the object, but he didn't. He quickly ran away and went home. Probably a good decision, don't you think?
Yeah, probably so. They would have probed him for sure.
There was
Damn about a hater when I feel like it. Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way, please. I'm trying
So
to
we
get
found an
paid.
ATM. We got cash, and I'm gonna try my best not to spend it.
Not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way, please. I'm trying to get paid.
Bro, for 27 years, I ain't gone for 28. Been seeing you niggas from
Dirty rotten people.
Oh, Dustin, I totally mixed up the times. You wrote me yesterday.
Yes.
Now I saw it 6 p.m. and
Yeah.
in my head
You
I
get too
was
drunk too quick, man.
fuck it. Yeah, you're right. I was very drunk.
I had that same problem. That's why
And,
I running so late this morning, man. I stayed up too late. I almost made it through the whole day without drinking, but I was in here like late at night, and I'd been in the studio all day, and I was fucking bored, man. And it was like already about midnight, and I was like, man, I can go like close down the bar right now. I was like, fuck it, so I just did that shit.
Full force. Yeah. Let's start up with a question.
Okay,
Michael, you're from Texas, right? And
that's
have you heard
correct.
about people who speak Texas German? I just saw a video today.
Texas German. I have not heard about this.
You have not heard about this. There's
No, sir.
there was a video about German refugees or immigrants that brought the German language to Texas, and the language is mixed, and so there is obviously Texas German going on over there.
You know, I
interesting.
believe that though, because well, I mean, you've probably heard of like Cajuns. You know, the French from they were originally French, but they're in Louisiana now. Some people call them coonasses. Those are they have a real interesting dialect, very interesting culture as well.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of them. Okay.
Yeah, they're like just I mean, I don't really know the history on it, but a bunch of like French people from back in the day that just settled in Louisiana. They're amongst the swamps and stuff like that. They're and they live that swamp life, and they have like this real interesting accent that's kind of like I might can try to impersonate it. It's like you gotta shoot that gator. You gotta shoot him.
Oh yeah.
they had the dude that was like famous. He was all like shoot him. And there was like
Yeah.
like everyone was saying that shit. But
Yes.
from
Okay.
that TV show. But
Yes.
yeah, also really nice people. I used to drive over the road, like truck driving, and
Mhm.
every time I went like deep South Louisiana, uh, they were like the friendliest people I have ever freaking met. I went down there one time and we was unloading the truck that of stuff I delivered, and the dude asked me uh, if I wanted a glass of ice water. I was like, dude, I can't remember the last time I've been offered a glass of ice water. Like maybe a bottle of water, but a glass of ice water. Man, that's extra friendly, you know.
Yeah, nice people. I saw a video of my all-time favorite is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I saw a TikTok video of him yesterday in his first movie. I think it was Hercules, and his accent was very strange back then in his first movie. I
Yeah.
show you how to throw the discus.
Yeah, that was
Into the
almost
chopper.
Hercules in New York, probably.
Yeah,
And that he had that real strong Austrian accent, man. Very strong.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, I think he like his first couple of movies. I think they even had to like dub over his voice, because it was so hard to understand, you know.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah.
Get to the chopper. I love
Hey.
that movie.
Let's talk a little bit about UFOs and stuff like that.
That's what I say. Speaking of aliens.
Speaking
Oh,
of
yeah.
aliens. Speaking of aliens, right?
Speaking of foreigners,
So you're from Texas. Are
Yes, sir.
you aware of UFO sightings in Texas?
Well, not so many specifically in Texas. Now, I'm sure there's probably plenty of them. I mean, there's a lot of sightings if you just go looking into people's stories. I really like the idea for y'all's podcast. Just like letting people share their stories. It's actually pretty incredible. But I kind of had like an interest in it, and I've been wanting to do a podcast or video about this topic for like a long time because, man, there's so many interesting details in regards to. Have you guys heard of Bob Lazar?
Oh yes.
Okay, you guys probably have. Yeah, so like I've sit and listened to him talk about his story, which seems very fascinating. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he could be just completely full of shit, but I mean, it doesn't sound like it. If he's lying, he's a good fucking liar, dude.
Yeah, and
So,
he kept the story up for so many years. That's the
Yeah,
impressive
he's
part.
very consistent.
Right. Yeah, he is. So yeah, I was just I've watched a lot of videos and listened to some audio of him telling his story. About getting this job, being a young man, getting this job out in the middle of the desert at a secluded location where they just told him, the job is in advanced propulsion. Is like basically all he knew in the beginning. But then he gets out there and it ends up being not Area 51 specifically, but he said about 15 miles south of Area 51 and at a location called Area S4, I think it was. And basically they're out there, they're working on like particle accelerators and just, stuff I don't really know much about. But something I thought was pretty interesting too was the fuel for these particle accelerators was something called moscovium, I believe. And this is back in like the 80s, right? I think like 88, 89. And, back before anybody had heard of moscovium. And then in 2003, 2004 sort of area, they actually added this element 115, they called it. They ended up adding it to the periodic table of elements, just all like a really bunch of fascinating details, and I really enjoyed his story. And there's like a lot of other, real credible people. There's like Michio Kaku, I believe his name was, who was a professor in like what do they call it? Theoretical physics, I think it was. And he speaks a lot about this sort of stuff, and he's got a lot of interesting material too, like in a lot of books talking about like the physics of the future and like impossible physics, I think one is called, and stuff like that. So I enjoy listening to guys like that, and that's really kind of steered me toward trying to look further into this. I'm just kind of like like I said, I'm not one of these these people that's got like an amazing story. I've never seen a UFO. I've never been abducted. I've had nothing injected into my backside that I can recall.
In Uranus.
My Uranus is untainted, thankfully.
Good for you.
But yeah, I just have like I think there's a lot of things that are just really, really important about this issue. And then, of course, there's a lot of theories. I mean, when I get to looking at these like Facebook groups and stuff like that, there are some people that are just convinced that we're on the verge of war, like an interstellar war. You know what I mean? Then there's just theories that, it's like, we just need to meet these people, or I don't know if you want to call them people, whatever they are.
There are
And
human
also,
ETs out there.
right, right. And also it kind of seems like the way, like say, like the government or government officials handle these sort of issues, it seems like now uh, they have to work harder to prove that there are no aliens rather than uh, people proving that there are, you know? So it just kind of seems like we're getting a lot closer to something happening, some beans being spilled, you know?
Yeah,
So what do you
I
guys
agree.
think?
No, I agree. I think the government is slowly leaking information out to us, saying that they do exist, but they don't know what they are. But still, again, like the government spending $2 million or more dollars on the matter over the years secretly.
Mhm.
It just kind of raises eyebrows how much they really do know, how much they are covering up. There is the Men in Black. They do cover up certain things and do investigate certain things. I think there's a recent guy who owned a website, Area 51, and it's all dedicated research about Area 51. And this website has been up for years. And just recently, the CIA and the FBI just ransacked his house and took all his computers and documents and shit, and didn't give
Wow.
him any tickets or anything, didn't arrest him or anything, just said goodbye. So even that, like even now that's been happening. That just kind of shows that yeah, they are real, and yeah, they are really covering up shit. And I don't know. I think louder you are as a whistleblower, the safer you are. But yeah, if you're just kind of, I don't know, especially that guy, he was really going into the Area 51 base, and then there's a lot of secrets in there, not just extraterrestrial, but
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, do you remember back when they was gonna have that raid at Area 51?
That's right. Yeah.
Like, I wonder whatever happened with that. There's just like a bunch of people was just like, man, we've had enough. We gotta know.
They
You
did
know?
actually show up.
Did they
A few hundred did.
get inside or anything like that? I don't remember how it happened, how it
No.
played out.
No, they all about a few hundred people came and just went up to the
Wow.
right up to the line. Basically, they weren't going to go past, but they just thought the fact that they drawn so many people to this area with this one guy on Facebook that wrote about, yeah, we should all go raid it because they can't stop all of us type thing. It's really
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm not counting on the government because they won't tell us. They only give us little bitty piece
little bit of things.
of what they know. So I'm not counting on the government. I like to listen to guys who actually seen UFOs. I even have a story from Stephenville in Texas. There was
Let's hear about it.
14 years ago. People there claim to have observed strange lights that move very fast and strangely. There was this other guy who was a former Air Force employee, I think. He too was watching the lights, and he didn't talk about it for a long time because his colleagues taunted him. They said he was lying and bragging about it. So it took him a while to come out with the story. And yeah, I love listening to UFO sightings. There are also quite a few UFO sightings in Germany. I even seen stuff myself, which was quite intense. That was back when I was 16. I'm 42 now. I saw a triangle in the sky moving very strange and very, very fast. I was with two friends. It was very impressive. And I just heard a story from Switzerland. There was this guy who observed the moon at night. He was looking at the moon, and because he loves watching the moon. And yeah, suddenly he saw a triangular shaped object besides the moon. and he even took pictures of it, and they are very impressive. So triangle-shaped UFOs are a thing.
Yeah, there's so many fascinating stories out there. Um, and and I'm pretty sure there's probably lots of stories of people just, making shit up. Uh, but the thing is, there's so many that even if 98% of them were completely made up, that's still a lot of significant stories. And some of those stories are like very credible. There's a couple of them. I got a couple of names here that I wrote down. Some pretty interesting stories of from naval pilots. And y'all might have heard some of these stories, but one of them was from Ryan Graves is his name, and he was a Navy pilot, and during training, let's see some of the details I wrote here. This was back in 2014. So their radar detects objects over the water, and he said that these objects could float in midair in 130 degree, completely stationary, and 130 mile per hour winds, and which is pretty much impossible. And there's also Commander David Fravor. He flew for the Navy for 18 years. He was very highly qualified, and back in 2004, about 60 miles off the coast of San Diego, they start detecting these objects, and so they were asked to go and get closer and kind of investigate it, and he actually visually seen it, and the way he describes it was a sort of a translucent square, if I'm describing that right, with a so I guess you could see through it, but you could still see it with some sort of sphere inside of it. And what's interesting about that is other sightings have described something basically identical to that, and they talk about how these objects that these many different naval pilots and stuff have seen. The way that these objects move is basically impossible as far as anything that we're aware of. They can move instantaneously. They don't have to build acceleration or accelerate over time. They just move instantly. They cut corners without slowing down. They stop without slowing down before they stop. They move at speeds up to between Mach 5, Mach 20, 20 times the speed of sound, but they don't create any sort of sonic boom. Just things that we, have never even heard of. There's no way we could pull it off. No, as far as I'm aware, there's no other country could have the technology to do anything like this. But these sightings are very credible. They've had investigations. They're just considered to be very substantial, and I just think that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that these things are popping out of the ocean kind of signifies that they probably been here for thousands of years and set up shop down at the bottom of the ocean. And no, you're right. I love the military stories because I feel like they're the most credible, and even police officers too. I feel like the most credible, because why would they put their job and career on the line of a made up story? I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy listening to stories like that, and man, there's got to be something to it. That's why I keep kind of diving off into it, and just I get kind of lost in it, because I think it's kind of hard to deny now that there's definitely something out there, and I just want to know, man. I got to know, dude.
Well, Daniel had the honor to interview Eric von Daniken. and that was amazing. That guy wrote Chariots of the Gods, and if you ever read that book, or if you ever heard of that book, I recommend you reading it.
That.
Yeah. So we actually had the superstar of all ancient astronaut theory on with Daniel. So I mean I still envy you.
Yeah, interesting enough, Eric von Daniken
Mhm.
was in his early years, he was not interested in the UFO topic. So but now he is. Back then, he said, I don't want to do have anything to do with it. That's quite interesting.
Mhm.
And he always was going for the ancient alien theories, so that aliens came to the Earth back then. Yeah, interesting. Since we have a UFO researcher here today, Dustin,
Yes.
maybe Dustin can tell us a little story about an interesting UFO case
In Wisconsin.
That'd be great.
Or I could tell you my personal experience that I had my UFO, because I heard Daniel already told his. I want to tell him mine.
Yeah.
Let's see. It was back in October 19th, 2012, and it was about 5 o'clock evening. The sun was going down, and it was getting dark, and I was walking to my car, and I was leaving my girlfriend's house, and this is off Kendall Avenue, right behind Hoyt Park. And let's see, I was right to my car, and I just happened to look into the sky, and then this black silhouette of a boomerang came out of like nowhere. It was probably going about 45 miles per hour, and it had 5 dim lights underneath it, and it's right over my head. And I was shocked. My hair's raised, my jaw dropped. I stood there for a minute, just like, what the fuck? I was ready to hear that sound, like that you'd see those B-2 bombers. That's what I thought it was. I was like, what the hell? Like, why was a military bomber right here? And it's so low too. It was probably 30 feet above the treetops. And yeah, it just was heading north. And I was just like, fuck, ran to my girlfriend's house. And I was like, dude, you won't believe what I just saw. And then ever since that day, I dove deep into the UFO subject pretty heavily, enough where I'm like studying UFOs all around Wisconsin, hot spots, other ancient spots. We have pyramids here in Wisconsin, land pyramids and underwater pyramids. Yeah, Wisconsin's a treasure trove for the ancient astronaut theory. So I've been just digging into it ever since 2012. And I've been collecting photographs of UFOs just a few years ago. Last year is the year that I got from Colonel Wendell Stevens. His storage locker was going up for auction, and I was bidding on these boxes that were coming out of there being auctioned off. And then those had a bunch of photographs in them that a lot of people haven't seen for years. So I just been, ever since when I got those photographs, I've been putting them online, and all those been going viral. And a lot of UFO researchers and other people have been hitting me up wanting to know more about these photographs that I got. Even Michael Horn, who's big on the Billy Meyer case, hit me up after he realized that I have the photographs of a UFO with a F-117 stealth fighter near Groom Lake, 1981, that was taken by Colonel Wendell Stevens himself. So yeah, it's been kind of like a roller coaster ever since I got those photographs, like all these people I've been meeting. And that's how I got to meet Daniel. And yeah, that's how it's been.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like hot spots that people can go to possibly improve their odds. I haven't even really thought about that of possibly seeing something.
Yes, actually, Wisconsin has 3 towns that claim to be the UFO capital of the world. There's Elmwood, Dundee, and Belleville. And each town have yearly parades UFO parades that they would decorate their cars like flying saucers and dress up like aliens and reminisce UFO stories. And actually,
Nice.
in Elmwood, they have like bus tours where they take people to all these spots that have the UFO landings, and they have markers and stuff like that. It's really crazy. And the biggest hotspot, or the largest hotspot, I should say, in Wisconsin is at Dundee Mountain. It's a natural park. You can go camping there at the base of the mountain. It's not really a mountain; it's a gigantic hill, but there's a trail that goes up to it. But the Native Americans called that hill Spirit Hill back in the day. But there's a lot of paranormal activity happening in that area, and it's been attracting UFOs ever since hundreds of years ago. So people go there to hope to catch some sightings there. But yeah, it's pretty wild.
My memory may be kind of failing me, or I might be getting kind of mixed up, but it seems like um have y'all watched the documentary with Graham Hancock? Uh,
Yeah,
Seems like wasn't there one of those locations in Wisconsin? And if there
mhm.
was, what was it? I don't.
He talked about the underwater pyramids at Rock Lake near Lake Mills,
Okay.
and there's 10 gigantic pyramids down there. I guess there's scuba divers back in the 70s who saw them. I guess it was back even further that I guess the first settlers came here. They saw the tips of the pyramids sticking out of the water, and they would ask the natives what they were, and they said that they were the stone pyramids or
Right.
stone teepees, I should say. Um, yeah, it's just a lot of, and then even Aztalan has the land pyramids where they have they even say the Native Americans in that area said that some strangers came from afar and set up shop where Aztalan is located and built a gigantic wall with logs and then built these pyramids in the middle. And then they were cannibalistic. I heard they waged war with other Indians. They practiced elongating skulls. Um,
Mm.
weird stuff. And then the most mysterious thing is that this one day they just dropped everything and disappeared. Like there was plenty of food. There was um no evidence of plague or anything like that. So it's just kind of like weird that these people came from afar and it's kind of like set up shop and like built this gigantic wall to keep other things out. And then they had this
Wow.
gigantic pyramid set. So they thought even that the Aztec or the Mayans migrated all the way from South America to Wisconsin. So
Wow.
yeah.
Dude, there's so many mysteries out there, man.
Oh, there's
Guys,
some.
I have an interesting UFO video right here.
Yeah, let's see it.
One, we can watch it. It's from Turkey. It's from 2008, and we can watch it on the Turkey UFO channel. I think you should
Still
see
learning
my,
Zoom as well.
You should see my screen now, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, like I said, the video is from 2008. Turkey UFO video. Kumburgaz. I don't know. Might be the region. So let's start.
Holy crap.
Oh, right up to the damn thing. It's like a window.
It's like a window, and you can see, yeah, a guy or two guys in there. And it was floating over the sea.
Oh shit.
Wow.
And people seen and filmed it over for years there. Yeah, there is a looks kind of like a triangle
It does. Or a diamond.
or a diamond shaped, yeah. If they only had night vision back then.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Huh.
Dude, I would freak out if I seen anything like that.
I would love to see something like that.
Yeah, that is insane.
Wow, dude. Dude, if I seen some shit like that, oh man, it would change my life.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
It
man, I'm
does.
selling everything. I'm going to like live on the top of this mountain and with a telescope, and that's just I'm gonna live off the land.
Well, that's one reason why me and Daniel do what we're doing, because we had such a sighting ourselves that we were pretty convinced that that was something we can't explain, and it hit home, or just
Wow.
it sent me out to do this voyage and finding out where the hell we came from, and we're not alone out there in the universe. And yeah, no, I like meeting all these people who have stories. Again, I love hearing them. Um, I give my best advice of what they might be. But yeah,
Wow, dude, it's pretty amazing, man. I can just how do you after seeing something like that, how do you just live a regular life? How do you just go back to work on Monday just like
it's hard. It is kind of hard.
Yeah.
it's like boss man trying to give you orders, tell you what to do, and you're just like, do you even realize what's out there? I can't stock these damn shelves.
No, you're right. It's one reason why the government's not going to come out straight up telling everybody, because no one will go back to work. Why would they?
Yeah.
They've been lied to forever. Yeah, it's just
That is kind of a good point.
mhm. Just look
And-
what the pandemic did to this world. Like we ran out of toilet paper, for God's sake. I can only imagine what we would run out of aliens came.
Oh yeah, we're like the whole world around us. People don't realize probably just how quickly it can crash. I mean, people just freak out so easy. So yeah, I guess I can kind of understand the containment. I mean, to a certain extent, who knows what's best? To tell everybody the truth
True.
or to just like
I
I
heard
don't know.
I heard the Vatican is starting to get people ready too, because they need religious leaders to kind of calm people down too when time does come. Because there's the people that are gonna maybe jump off the rooftops. But yeah, it's gonna crumble religion, or if then again, maybe it will just be bringing another good understanding to the religion, or just other words. You know how like other holy books around the world all talk about ancient astronauts, and
Yeah. I think there's got to be some sort of because I am also, I really appreciate science,
Mhm.
and but I also am religious also,
For sure.
but I just think that there's some area to where the two coexist that we just don't comprehend just yet.
Mhm.
It's I just believe there's just a lot of science out there that we don't know yet, and I believe it's I mean religion comes from somewhere. These stories uh, that you hear in the Bible, or rather in the Quran or whichever.
Mhm.
I believe they come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think people during the time they just they interpreted things the best way that they knew how. But I definitely think there's something to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael,
Yes, sir.
there are many theories out there where these UFOs could come from. Some say they come from other solar systems. Then there are people who say they could be time traveling people from the future, which I find quite interesting. Maybe
Right.
you also have to think about the theory of multiverses.
Mhm.
What do you think about it? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I've thought a lot, and of course I have no answers, just like everybody else. But I
Yeah.
mean, I've definitely considered that, these these if you would consider them, extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call them. I mean, it could be just advanced, more evolved versions of ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, then again, it could be a dimensional thing. They could be like living amongst us, right now, all around us, just in a dimension that we can't, or at least we don't always have access to. And that could also kind of explain like a lot of the paranormal activity. You know what I mean? Actually,
Sure.
from actually watching a couple of y'all's videos, I actually it really kind of made me think that you know the alien sightings or in the paranormal activity, um, they could kind of be one and the same. You know what I mean? They could be linked. Some people
Interesting.
might just say, I saw an alien. Some people might just say I saw a ghost. I was watching one of those videos where they were talking about how they had the ability to walk through walls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be a spiritual thing, or it could just be advanced technology. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting you say that.
It is.
There are more and more researchers or scientists that likes to think about the idea that the UFO phenomenon and the paranormal happenings have the same origin. I also find it very interesting. People who claim that they have been abducted by UFOs often say that supposed aliens suddenly appear in their rooms. They seem to come through walls or through the roof without the walls being an obstacle for them. This could almost, seen as a ghostly apparition of some kind, right?
Right.
No, you're right about those parallel universes. That there are things like the theory that there's only a certain frequency that we can see, and then there's other things that are living in different frequencies that we can't see that can obviously just move amongst us.
Here in Germany, we have this scientist. His name is Dr. Walter von Lucadou, a well-known scientist over here when it comes to the paranormal. And he has been researching the haunting or paranormal phenomenon for many years. He pursues the idea that paranormal occurrences come from the affected themselves. Very simply explained, his theory is that certain emotional states could generate energies that manifest outside your body and thereby trigger these phenomena. He has investigated many cases himself and found out that the alleged haunting is often quite simple to explain. There was a man who claimed that he constantly hears voices in his apartment. Yeah. And he heard talking and singing and cursing and stuff like that. Could not find an explanation for it himself. So he contacted Dr. von Lucadou. And von Lucadou then discovered that it was, the problem was an old tea kettle. It was radio signals, so to speak. The tea kettle reproduced the signals like a primitive, like a speaker.
Right.
So there's not something supernatural behind every haunting. So, but I find the idea very interesting where he said that energies can manifest outside your body. Maybe could be the reason why pictures move or why the fork is falling from the table, stuff like that. So no ghost involved. It's you. It comes from inside you. It's energy. It's interesting idea. Doesn't explain everything because we have other stuff too. I can tell you another story if you don't mind.
Oh, please.
Don't mind me blabbering here.
I love hearing your voice.
Not at all.
Thank you, guys. It's about the woman I talked to myself. I did an interview with her. Very sweet, elderly woman. She was very sweet, and it was very interesting. She told us her story for the podcast, and she told me that she has been haunted by a spirit for many years now. And I think it still goes on. And that it also has been affecting her physically. At night, when she's lying in bed, the ghost, let's say, kicks her mattress from below. That's what she told us. She lies in bed, she lies on her back, and it feels like somebody is lying underneath the bed on his back and bumps the mattress with his feet. So that's how she described it. Yeah, and she hardly gets any sleep at night because of it, of course. And then she also sees ghosts of children and other people. Once she saw a little girl with a candle in her hand. Interesting. Next to the girl kneeled a woman. Do I say kneeled? Yeah, kneeled. Is it kneeled?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Crystal. Her name is Crystal. The elderly lady. Her name is Crystal. So, Crystal, the lady that I'm talking about, had the feeling that this woman wanted the girl to give the candle to Crystal, but she didn't. She pointed to Crystal, to the girl. Those spirits never speak. She sees them speaking, but she doesn't hear them. She can't hear what they say, but she sees that the mouth is moving, they speak. And this woman made a gesture to the girl to give the candle to Crystal, but she didn't. Then she saw ghosts of foresters and construction workers in her apartment, like crazy nurses. Once she saw someone sitting by her bed when she was laying in bed, holding a book in his hands. And Crystal had a friend, a woman, and she too appeared in her apartment after she died. This woman died, and few months or I don't know, years after it, she appeared, and Crystal saw her. But this woman was not alone. There were other people with her. She said it looked like a group photo. They were preparing for a group photo. It was very interesting, yeah. And when she couldn't take it anymore, she hired a so-called ghost hunter team. And those people came and did their magic. I don't know what they do. They came with their stuff and I don't know what they did. I forgot. And yeah, after these people were with her or visited her, the ghosts apparently became angry, very angry, because she saw a man standing by her bedside one night, and he was pointing a gun at her. This spirit had a gun in his hand, and he was looking very angry. His face impression was very, very angry. He was very mad, really, really mad, and he pointed a gun at Crystal, and she was very, very scared. She didn't know, will he shoot or what will happen, and she was very scared. Yeah, and he threatened her with a gun. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I heard a theory one time. Someone, I guess, trying to explain like ghost sightings and sounds and stuff like that. Something to do with like it could be like a time lapse of some sort. Where space and time kind of like blend together, and then like you see things from the past. I don't know how true it is, of course, but have y'all ever heard of anything like that?
I'm not sure. I get what you're
so
saying.
like the ghost is like in limbo, doing the same thing it would be doing if it was still alive.
Maybe you could consider it something like that. Yeah.
They're stuck in a how do you call it? In a endless
limbo.
Yeah, in an endless limbo, and they have to do
caught in a loop.
Yeah, in a loop, maybe in a loop. Yeah, I heard about that too. I heard of ghosts that appear on stairs, but they don't seem to notice the people living in the house. The ghost is doing his thing, and he doesn't recognize the people that live there, and he wanders upstairs and downstairs every night and goes to the kitchen and goes to the bathroom, and he does the same thing every night for years and years and years as he is stuck in a loop, right?
Yeah. So I was gonna say too that story you were just telling about Crystal seeing that ghost with a gun. I was like, what kind of powerful entity do you need to be to fucking take a gun with you to the afterlife? You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, I wonder what would happen if he shot the gun.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the rules of the spiritual realm, but like, Like, what kind of caliber? How do you fight that? How do you fight? That's what really scares me about like paranormal stuff.
She, excuse me. She also told me that this ghost hunter team set up a camera somewhere in her apartment. They set up a camera and tried to take a picture of whatever is there. And that night, she told me she saw, I'm not sure, a woman or a man, also with a camera, taking a picture of her.
Whoa.
Standing in front of her bed and taking a picture of her. And
oh shit!
this spirit also tried to, or it looked like it was manipulating the camera that was set up. I don't know if something happened to the camera. I'm not sure. I can't remember if something happened to the camera, but the ghost obviously had something going on with the camera. Tried to do stuff with the camera and had an own camera and took a picture of her. That's interesting. And however, I would like to say one more thing about this. Then I'm done with this story. The lady was dead serious what had happened, about what had happened. She was dead serious, guys. And I watched her closely. While we were talking. Well, I'm not an expert in this field, but I have I watched her hand movements, I watched her eye movements, I observed her. Because I'm always a little bit skeptical. But like I said, she was dead serious. She even got the goosebumps while we were talking. She had the shivers, and sometimes she trembled as if she was afraid while she were talking, and she was breathing very heavy sometimes, and her eyes went wide and stuff like that. So she was, while she was talking, she was afraid. Maybe she was afraid those spirits, let's call it spirits, hear what she's talking about. Maybe she was afraid that they're following her and listen to what she's what she's telling us. Yeah. And whether it was all in her head or it really happened, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But I know but I don't think she was lying. Guys, I don't think she was lying. This woman experienced something in whatever way. Whether it was real or maybe it's psychological issue, I don't know, but she experienced something. And you could tell while listening to her. That was interesting.
Couldn't imagine having to live like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I would just make you really like suffering. Schizo for the rest of your life. I mean, that would be
right.
I mean, that'd be terrible. You know, and there's something to the paranormal thing. You know, the only movies, as far as like horror movies, that really scare me are the paranormal activity type of movies, especially the ones that are supposedly like true stories. See, that shit fucks me up. Like I'll be like paranoid for the rest of the night over that shit because it's well, the thing is, you know, I spoke about like being religious. Now, I wasn't always religious. I didn't always I wasn't like a diehard non-believer, but I mean, I just kind of felt like, you know, I just didn't know certain things. You know, and whenever I became religious or started to believe that there was definitely something else out there, I started noticing signs of like a spiritual realm in the area of like good versus evil. You know what I mean? And I feel like I noticed that. You know, what do you think there's some sort of I mean, we're talking already about basically a spiritual realm, but do you really think there's like a good versus evil like forces out there?
I don't. What about you, Dustin?
Okay.
Well, when it comes to the ancient astronaut theory, I guess there was raging wars between the gods. So, like, well, in the Bible too, talking about all the fallen angels that went to Earth and mated with the women and created giants, and that, and no, I believe that. Um, I think there is that I don't know, the fact that we have war against each other. I don't know why it wouldn't happen against with the gods or with extraterrestrials. And then there has been evidence with the reptilian gods against the Nordic uh, ETs and stuff like that. So yeah, it just I don't know. It is interesting to hear all these holy books talk about these raging wars against each other. Um, I don't know, and all these human emotions that these gods claim to have too. It's kind of weird. I don't know.
I do not believe in heaven or hell
Mhm.
as they taught us in the school
Mhm.
or in the church. I do not believe in God and the Bible,
Mhm.
at least not as I was told to believe
Right.
in. But I believe there is something, there is a higher something, I don't know, somewhere
Yeah.
created
Well,
everything. I believe that.
I
But
definitely, when it
if
comes to
you,
like my
excuse me,
religious, go ahead.
sorry. Um, but I do not believe in heaven or hell. Somebody
Mhm.
asked me, "Do you believe in heaven or hell?" I don't believe when I do bad stuff that I don't know, get sucked down into the depths of the hell and burn for eternity. I don't know. I don't know. You create your own hell while you're alive.
Hmm.
You can make your life good, or you can make your life miserable.
Oh,
So
sure.
if
Yeah.
you live a life full of shit, you have hell on earth.
Hmm.
Don't need to get sucked down into into the burning fires of hell and meet Satan. You can create your own hell on earth. You can live a shitty life full of suffering, and which is not a
You're
good
right.
thing. You can and get depressions from it and have a very shitty life as long as you live. Or you can do good stuff and live a good life and be kind to people and create your own heaven on earth. So
It definitely matters what we do in this life. I think there's my particular sort of religious beliefs are probably very unique. They come from sort of a Christian uh, sort of way of thinking, but I've also kind of like examined a lot of other religions. I don't really call myself a Christian because I just think that there's a lot of just people just have really just jacked up Christianity and jacked up religion so much. Um, I don't know. I just have like a lot of my own unique views, I think, in regards to it. But I do have times to where like I find myself genuinely trying to connect with like a higher power and trying to like in the sense of him or it whatever being a creator, being my creator. Back when like I was first kind of discovering this and kind of like trying to manifest it, um, and I was really trying to be a better person, not just for myself, but for uh, this higher power. And I felt like I was making a lot of progress in connecting with it on a spiritual level, and also being like just a much better person. Um, and I remember I was at work one day. All of a sudden, I got this message from this chick that I had been wanting to hook up with for like ever. Okay, and this chick was like, dude, I wanted her for a long time. And then like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, whenever I'm at like the heightened state of trying to connect to this higher power on a spiritual level and be a better person, like bam, all of a sudden she wants to come over and she wants to hook up. And I remember looking at my phone, I was just like, no fucking way. No way, dude. You know? It just things like that. Like, I'm just like, man, it seems like there's, and it could just be a coincidence. It's a matter of perception, I guess. But it just seems awfully convenient, to somebody.
I don't consider myself as a spiritual person, but I
Mhm.
don't believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. That's what I believe. Everything
Okay.
happens for a reason, and it proved to me by many occasions.
Right.
So I'm sure about this one. No coincidences.
Sure.
And before we quit, I forgot in the episode, but I wanted to show you another video
Okay.
that a friend of mine showed me on his channel. His channel is called UFO Wissen. It's a German word, UFO knowledge.
UFO.
UFO Wissen.
UFO.
UFO Wissen. Say Wissen.
Wissen.
Wissen, yeah. Wissen. is
Wissen.
knowledge.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude, yeah.
I love my Schadenfreude.
Ich kann auch die ganze Zeit Deutsch sprechen, wenn ihr möchtet. Soll ich die ganze Zeit Deutsch sprechen?
Nein.
Nein.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Du
with what you
meinst
said.
also, ich soll nicht die ganze Zeit Deutsch sprechen. Okay, dann spreche ich nicht die ganze Zeit Deutsch.
I don't know what the hell he's saying either. So
Yeah,
I know only a few German words.
I could say the better things, and you guys only smile at me.
That's
Yeah.
Talk
awesome.
about your moms.
I know.
No, but I
That's-
won't.
I wish I could speak multiple languages. It's kind of like on a bucket list sort of thing too.
German is
Really?
hard. German is
Yeah.
hard. Learning German is hard. We have so many.
Doesn't sound easy.
Very
No.
strange things in German. It was
Like
pretty
12
easy
little
to
words.
learn. It was pretty easy to learn English, but I want to learn Russian. I like to learn Russian because there's so many great UFO stories in Russia, and you can't talk to these people. And I also want to learn Spanish because in the Spanish-speaking regions there's so many great UFO stories.
Yes.
And Portuguese, right? And
Mhm.
you cannot talk to those people because you don't understand what they say. That's crazy, but I have no time. But let me show you the video I was talking about.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's see it.
Because Dustin told us about UFOs that submerge in the water and come out of the water. There was a video, was filmed 2013 in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. And it's filmed from a pilot filmed it from a F something fighter jet. I don't know. Okay, I play the video.
There we go.
UFO Wissen.
Eine Maschine des Messlicht über dem Ozean. Dann in geringer Höhe, wobei es zweimal den Flughafen überquert und letztendlich im Ozean.
I muted it. So where is it? There it is.
Oh.
Ooh, there.
The speed is 100 kilometers per hour. I don't know in miles.
Holy shit. It's flying.
Should be 140 miles or 150 miles per hour, I think.
The invisible highway.
At one point, it's diving into the water for a few seconds, and when it comes out,
Oh, it pops right back out.
there's two.
Oh shit.
It changes into two objects with the same
Okay.
size. So this is not a plane,
No.
and this is not a balloon or a weather balloon, or
No.
this is definitely something strange.
I could just zip back the other way. It's going just taking all these fucking turns. It's going over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's great. I don't know if did you catch the episode of the Visible Highway that we talked about? Where this guy we interviewed told us to take our cell phones and put them in slow motion mode and aim at the sky, and you'll catch something. Guarantee. Because me and Daniel both caught something.
Yeah.
I caught two things on two different occasions.
I'm gonna do that today.
Do it. Cloudy days are the best too. I heard he was saying because they like to dip it in and out to the clouds. But then yeah, just after you look, I would do it for just for a few minutes because when you put it in slow motion mode, it's gonna be like 5-10 minutes of like this slow video. But yeah, if you just do it for like a minute, minute and a half, and just aiming at the sky, he said cloudy days are the best because they like to dip in and out to the clouds. But yeah, I caught something absolutely amazing where I have to still send it to you. Or if there's a way I can like, I still have to learn how this iPad works. If I could share stuff on it, like how Daniel just did. But anyways, there's like that black ball that we just watched just come out of. If it's going full speed, then it slows down, and then it goes starts zigging, zagging, and then it goes flying right through right out the picture. But the fact that like I caught it and it was in slow motion mode, but it's still fast enough where I can, man, yeah, I got to do some editing on that video. And I'll show you guys.
Well, these sightings that that like these people have, like especially these naval pilots, where these things, they even have it, recorded like on their radars and stuff like that. These objects, the way that they move, it's like they move in ways that, I mean, if there were people inside of them, we'd be crushed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be juice on the wall.
Yeah.
Michael, do you watch on your cell phone or do you watch on a screen?
Both. I have a PC that I sit in front of a lot.
Right now, do you watch on your screen or on your cell phone?
On a screen on PC.
Okay, I can show you the video that I took, and I changed the speed from 100% to 10%. So it's
okay.
Watch here. Here it comes.
You have a beautiful house, man. Look at that. Nice.
What the heck was that?
And then comes another.
Watch this thing. Look at that.
You couldn't see it when you let it roll at normal speed.
No.
You couldn't see it. There's another one from, I think.
He did it on a clear sky. That's even more rare.
And then there's another one.
And that's just outside your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this one. I don't know what it was.
Bro.
You couldn't see it at normal speed. I only saw it at 10% speed. I'm not saying UFOs, but I'm saying UFOs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
No, seriously. And it's kind of weird that we didn't really think about it. Like, why didn't I think of doing that like a long time ago since we had slow motion on our phones to start just aiming at the sky and see what we would catch?
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy just brought it to our attention that he kind of coined the name Invisible Highway. I mean, and
so simple.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
wow.
The Invisible Highway. He's on Instagram. You should check him out.
Yeah, check him out. He's got tons of videos of what he took all around, not just his house, but this all over the place.
Yeah.
Did you shoot that with your cell phone or what?
Yeah.
That's
I aimed
correct.
my cell phone at the sky for a
minute,
30 seconds or a minute. Yeah, I don't know. And then I changed the speed in my program here where I do my videos. I changed the speed from 100% to 10% to super slow motion. And yeah, imagine. Let's have another look at the last one. Wait.
Okay.
Imagine. Open. Where's the last one? The last one from left to right. Check it out. This is 10% speed.
Wow.
Imagine how fast it was.
Yeah, it's got to be fucking flying.
Bruh.
It's going hundreds of miles per hour.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, cool. See, I can do that too now. Yeah, that's these are the F-117 with the UFO that I have. These are the originals that I have. Oh, that's cool. Shit.
That's the famous UFO picture, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I won from the storage locker. And then this one too that I just made. This one's going viral right now online.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of if it's what kind of jet that is. People say it's a B-2 bomber. I don't know.
I don't
Oh,
think so.
wow. Where was that taken at? Do you know?
No, unfortunately. A lot of the photographs that Wendell had information on the written on the background with in his own handwriting. And yeah, these ones didn't have it. Didn't have any descriptions. There's me and Carrot Top. I ran into Carrot Top when he was at the Brewer game. He was sitting a few rows ahead of me. I was like, oh shit.
He's definitely an alien.
It was
Yeah.
a little bit.
Talking about Dustin.
And Carrot Top.
So I even have these too, Daniel. I don't know if you I have the negatives to some of the photographs. This
Oh,
one
that's
was
interesting.
from Australia.
Oh, cool.
Looks like a
Yeah.
smiley face on the right.
Yeah,
It does.
doesn't it?
Fake.
It's not fake.
I call bullshit. Please no.
There must
dick
be a there must
Please,
be a
Lord,
way.
no dick pics.
Yeah, no. No, I was wondering if I could put
Oops.
videos on here.
Edit that one out.
Yeah.
Maybe leave it in.
What does that mean?
Have you heard about Oumuamua, Michael? About
I don't think so. Sounds
Oumuamua
Hawaiian.
was an interstellar object that crossed our solar system a few years back. It was in the news everywhere. And it was they say it could be an elongated asteroid or something like that crossed our solar system. And there was this guy, his name is Avi Loeb. Avi Loeb is a Harvard professor, a scientist, astrophysicist, and he wrote a book about it, and he became very famous because of this book, because he had this theory that it could be an alien satellite or something, because it moved very strange. If an object crosses our solar system, it just flies straight through. But this object made maneuvers. It slowed down. It accelerated. It became faster and faster, and then it slowed down again. And this should not happen. It's normally, this is not possible. It's not possible. And it flew around the Earth, and then it shoot out of our solar system.
And what was it called again?
It's called Oumuamua. It's a Hawaiian word for something. I don't know.
Cool.
And yeah, Oumuamua. I can send you a link.
I think Muamua means messenger.
Yeah, it's called messenger. He said it could be maybe an alien spaceship, or it could have been alien satellite or something, or an alien drone, because it behaved very strange, and this should not happen. This should not happen.
Shaped like a cigar.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very strange. Oumuamua. I sent you a few links about it, and I did an interview with this professor from the Harvard University. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I saw him on Joe Rogan's podcast, and then I was thinking, if Joe Rogan can talk to him, I can do too.
Of course.
And then I wrote an email. I sent him an email, and believe it or not, 30 minutes after I sent the email, he answered, "Hey, Daniel, great. I will talk to you. I love talking about this topic." And I was like, whoa, that was quick. And yeah, then I had him on my show and talked to him. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, this photograph was taken in I think 1994 in Mexico by two housewives that just happened to be taking a walk together, and this fucking UFO just popped up, and they just fucking took a few photographs of it and it dipped off. But yet this is the original photograph too that Wendell collected.
Crazy.
Very rare.
Wow. I have heard some stories from like Mexico. There's a lot of like really secluded like mountain ranges and stuff there. That, I had this one guy tell me about like all his childhood. They remember seeing on the other side of this mountain range, like all the time, something coming and going from over there. You know what I mean? But nobody, I guess, I don't know if the mountain was just too steep. People didn't go over there often to like check it out, but it was like a regular occurrence, things coming and going on the other side of that mountain, and there was supposed to be nothing over there, or at least,
Yeah.
so we
Right.
thought.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I kind of like appreciate, the whole science thing, man, is like I really feel like we have to prepare ourselves for some sort of eventual uh catastrophic event that's going to just basically wipe us all out unless we are prepared to uh avoid it somehow or another and possibly become like completely interstellar ourselves.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I tend not to think too much about it, that an asteroid or something could hit the Earth and wipe us all out, because if it happens, it happens. And if it happens, it will happen very fast.
All right.
I mean, we will notice it before, of course, right? So like a year or two before, or maybe 2 or 3 years, but it will happen. And I will have, this will be the best 1 or 2 years ever in my life. I will, drink myself to shit.
But no, I was gonna say this is Aztalan. This is one of the pyramids, gigantic step pyramids. So yeah, they would the strangers that came from afar and built that wall. Or there was more of the wall, obviously, back then.
Right.
But yeah, there's some aerial shots. But yeah, this thing is gigantic. I go
It was
here.
probably even taller. There's a lot of these like structures over thousands of years. They kind of sink into the ground a little bit,
Yeah.
No, you're right.
There's so many interesting things on this earth, and pyramids are everywhere on the planet. Even in Germany and Bulgaria and Hungary, you can find pyramids everywhere. That's so interesting.
Yeah. And this is the second pyramid. That's the pyramid of the moon. The first one you saw was the pyramid of the sun. But yeah, again, it's like a lot of Aztec, Mayan looking right here in Wisconsin.
Oh, that is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? It's
And what's
beautiful.
really interesting is they're kind of like finding out nowadays that a lot of these structures are like dated back like prehistory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is insane to think about.
That brings us to another topic that we maybe can talk about someday. It's called forbidden archaeology.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting topic. Yeah, because there's like a lot of people that's really trying to study into a lot of things that your mainstream, archaeologists are just like they're not having that shit,
Right.
Yeah.
And everything. Let's take, for example, let's talk about the Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah.
Or Egyptian, I don't know. Let's stick with the pyramids. People back then who built it, as they tell us in the books, they said, yeah, many slaves brought those rocks from there to there and stacked it.
Yeah.
And with those ramps, shit like that. And I think this could be possible. I think they could have built it. When talking about only build it, stacking those big ass rocks. However they did it, but maybe it's possible to stack those fucking stones on top of each other. But I'm talking about who did the planning and stuff for this shit.
Well, I'll tell you this. So
those were cavemen. Those were almost still cavemen back then.
Right. So I'm a what I do for work nowadays is I'm a crane operator actually, but I'm a certified crane operator, but I'm also a certified rigger. So like I am literally in the business of picking up
Lifting tons.
big heavy things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And like in the just the rigging area alone, before you even like get into like cranes and stuff like that, there's like an area they call like bull rigging and specialty rigging. Like say if you have like massive pieces of like machinery or whatever that has to be moved and maneuvered in a area where you can't get a crane. So basically, it's just a lot of basic tools, jacks. We have these things called skates and slides and the gantries and stuff like that. And there's a lot of money in that field. And I'm pretty good at doing this. I'm pretty good at moving big things, with very simple technology. But whenever I look at these pyramids and these massive stones, we have just in the company that I work for, we have a 500-ton crane, a 550-ton crane. These cranes can't even. These are huge cranes, big cranes. These cranes, when they roll out, they sometimes have 10 trucks, like 18-wheelers, behind them bringing the counterweights, and then it's like an all-day process just building the crane to move things that aren't nearly as big and heavy as some of these stones. You know what I mean? I can't even possibly wrap my head and to think that like some of these stones, like the Egyptian pyramids, they say that the rock that these stones came from like 500 miles away.
Yeah, they recorded it long, far away.
And they had to cross water.
Terrains, and
What?
water and different terrains up and down hills. Like, and then what healthy slave are you whipping on the back to do this? And then you look at their toolbox and it's fucking dental floss and chicken bones. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? No, and then at the same time, these Egyptians are writing on the walls that, yes, we did build the pyramids, but then again, we had help from these gods that came down too. And it makes more sense. And then you get to be right, like the mathematics that go into it. And if you're just wrong on the bottom of the pyramid, you fucked up the whole pyramid. So, like, someone fucked up the base of the pyramid and you get to the top, you're like, people would die.
Getting some extra whips.
Yeah, right. Like, what the fuck? No, they had to be very precise, and it's funny though. These pyramids don't have hieroglyphs in them either, so they could have been used as machines or PowerPoints or in the ley lines. There's just tons of theories of why they were used, and
it's still not proven that they were tombs. So.
Right. Again, they might have been used for some sort of energy. They said there was water in the basement of the pyramid where they were pumping water in from the Nile and kind of starting this vibration thing where the water goes up and down, slamming against the ceiling of the wall. And there's there's pyramids in South America that they found flowing mercury in the basements of some of these pyramids too. So like some of these people are messing with dangerous chemicals back in the Stone Age, and these people are not worried about scavenging for food. It's kind of like Easter Island too. There's only probably like 2,000 indigenous people there at the time, and you have to think of them. Some of them, 25% of them were men, and the other were like elderly women and children. And you think they would have to forage for food, but they were all busy building these. These men were building these statues and moving them all across the island. Just the number of people they had just to do that, and there was no wooden rollers, and I don't know. Just again, and some of these were buried too intentionally.
Right.
So Jesus Christ, and some of these statues weigh 75 tons. Like, who the fuck are you doing? Like. Yeah, you think there'd be like a mutiny on the idea, right? Like someone's bringing this up, like we're gonna do this every day.
Definitely interesting that a lot of these structures, especially like the temples and the like a lot of the pyramids, they have such a unique acoustic sort of ability like you're starting to kind of mention there, somebody may have been trying to like perform some sort of like lifting of very heavy things using vibrations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have looked into that, and that's definitely very interesting. And I think, man, there's got to be something to that, man. Because I'm telling you right now, man, these stones and these objects that these people are just like lugging around, you know, I don't think we have the capabilities, you know. So it's, I don't know, man. There's
Yeah.
something pretty crazy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe people back then knew more than we do now. Who knows? You were talking about those sound making stones or stuff like that. We have, there is this mountain which is in the middle of the border, Germany, Austria. It's called the Untersberg. And the Untersberg, around, there's so many myths about the Untersberg, so many myths about portals. And there are, at the Untersberg, you can find those big ass rocks, and it's called Klangsteine.
Klangsteine.
You take a big rock and you hit them, and they make a sound.
Oh, that's cool.
And the sound wave, let's put it this way, directs into, I don't know, somewhere. And if you if you are standing at a certain point, and somebody hits those rocks, those sounds almost makes you crazy. It's almost making you crazy. And those stones are everywhere around. Imagine people hitting those stones for hours and hours, and those sound waves come from everywhere. You're going crazy. And there's people that say that they created a portal with those
Stargate.
stones. Yeah, kind of like a Stargate, like a portal. I say maybe a portal opened it back then, and yeah, I don't know.
And I definitely feel like we lost something. We definitely lost some sort of big important piece of information.
Our species has
is.
amnesia.
Yeah. I don't
for
know,
sure.
I don't know what it is, but we have definitely lost something.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, you're right. You're right. If a zebra could talk, it could probably tell you where the hell it came from. You know what I'm saying? But no, like you're right. We're just one species that just kind of like left in the dark of like where we came from. That's why I'm on this quest. Like I wake up every morning with this like crazy, just where the fuck did humans come from? It's just a drive, or it's like you gotta find this answer. It's gotta come, you know. And I'm finding people like Daniel who are seeking the same answer, and that's really cool. Again, I'm glad to meet you too, and we're just talking on this subject.
I need to improve my my network when it comes to doing stuff like this for sure. So I'm really glad that we linked up and made this happen.
There's a very famous UFO case from Zimbabwe, Ruwa, Zimbabwe.
Okay.
It happened at the Ariel School in Ruwa, Zimbabwe. There was three UFOs coming down and landed at the Ariel School, Ruwa, Zimbabwe. And I think 60 or 80 children saw those beings coming out of the UFOs, and they were communicating.
I have heard this story.
Yeah, it's a very famous UFO case. And I was talking to one of these kids. Back then he was a kid, and now he's an adult. I met him at a conference here in Germany. He was invited as a guest, as a speaker, to tell his story. And I had the chance to talk to him. I had a few drinks with him after it, and I had a few drinks with him, and he told me his story, and it was very believable. It was very interesting talking to this guy. He saw those beings, he saw those crafts coming down, and it was very, very interesting talking to him. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. All those stories from all around the world, so much people talk about it, and many of these people tell the same story, and they never met. So
that is a pretty significant story there. being that like nearly 100 people shared this same sighting, that is definitely something to not overlook, for sure.
For sure. But nobody besides the UFO community cares about it. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. But hey, I got to get going here because my mother's coming over, and
Yeah, no problem. That's all right.
no, that's cool. We're gonna party together.
Yeah,
Right,
leave us
so
alone.
me-
Leave us alone.
No, we're actually gonna trip on some mushrooms together. My mom and my girlfriend, and I think my other friend's gonna come over here.
You're tripping on
Right.
mushrooms with your mom, right?
Yes.
I heard right. Okay.
Yes.
Family time is important.
I'm gonna go talk to some aliens.
There you go. He's gonna have new stories for us tomorrow. All
Might have
right,
found
yeah,
that
I
out.
probably better get going too, man. I really enjoyed this, dude. I really want to do this again. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this with me, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no
sure,
problem.
man.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Yo, if you like that video, hit like and subscribe. Do it now with your fingers. Likey, subscribe.